for now, this belt is vacant. For how many minutes, we do not know. It could be 36 fighting minutes, it could be less. But Shakur Stevenson and Joet Gonzalez are following their dream tonight on ESPN+. I'm Bernardo Osuna alongside Timothy Bradley and Mark Kriegel. You can feel the tension, Tim.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a fill-out round for both guys right now. They're going to take a look at one another. And right now, it's going to be about establishing distance for Shakur Stevenson. He's not going to allow Gonzalez to get close.
You see the size of Shakur Stevenson, who's really come into his own, making a debut just 2 years and 6 months ago after winning Olympic silver in Rio 2016.
And you see Joet, he's, high guard, really deflecting a lot of the punches of Shakur Stevenson.
And Shakur told us, I hope he throws that jab. That was the one thing he did tell us in the fighter meetings. One thing he'd look for was to dig to the body. Both guys very efficient going to the bodies. He goes there with a straight left.
Controlling the distance, not allowing Gonzalez to get to where he needs to be, and that's mid-range to land his power shots.
You see the jab from Shakur Stevenson, the 1-2. That high guard will allow Shakur to dig to the body. We talked about how he doesn't get hit, and so far that statistic is holding up in this first round, but it's just a feel-out round also for Joet Gonzalez.
Yeah, Joet Gonzalez is going to have to figure out a way to get close and to get Stevenson against the ropes, because that's where Stevenson is vulnerable. He's inside the pocket.
You see the vision of Shakur Stevenson just waiting to see what Joet is going to do.
Yeah, Joet's trying to establish himself and trying to get in the range. He's trying to come behind his jab occasionally, but he's rushing things.
Talked about patience. Neither guy just starting off at a crazy rhythm. You see the footwork there between the two fighters trying to establish the outside foot, stepping on each other, and the quickness of Shakur Stevenson, Tim.
Absolutely. And what Shakur Stevenson is doing, he's making Joet pay for all his mistakes. He's lunging in with punches. He's getting ahead of himself a little bit. He's rushing this stuff. He needs to take his time and come behind his jabs and figure out another way to get inside.
What does Shakur do best in terms of adjusting from what you've shared with him in sparring and training?
Well, he had real good reflexes. When somebody trying to put a lot of pressure on him, he know how to gauge you real good.
Yeah, that's something
like he's doing right now.
Yeah, that's something that greatness, that prodigy that we see in Shakur Stevenson being one of the highest ranked fighters out of the Olympics. Joet watched those low blows, and we just saw the sneakiness of Shakur Stevenson. I'm sure you didn't teach him or help him out with that in the gym at all, Terrence, but how he was bringing down the head of Joet Gonzalez in the clinch.
It's good because it's making him work. It's making him use more energy than he's willing to use.
If you close the exits, you can also work the body and slow him down.
Yeah, of course. You can cut the ring off as well. And then Shakur wouldn't be able to slide out the back door like he's doing right now. But Shakur's feet so fast, Joet can't get to the spot before him. He loves to jab to the body, and Joet trying to go to the body to slow him down. But like I said, Shakur right there one minute, and he's going the next.
But we'll see you in the lead up to December 14th against Egis Kabayauskas.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Bernardo Osuna alongside Timothy Bradley and Mark Kriegel, bringing you the world title fight. Shakur Stevenson taking on Joet Gonzalez for the vacant featherweight WBO title. And so far, it's been more of a chess match than a war.
It's definitely going to be a chess match because Stevenson is not going to make it a war at all. He's on box. He's going to use the sweet science against Joet Gonzalez. Joet's trying to inch in close. Ooh, nice leg shot right there from Joet.
Doesn't matter where you hit him, right? Long as it's not low and the referee doesn't call it. You got to find a way to slow down your opponent. Talked about concentration and focus, and we've seen it from both guys.
Yeah.
Shakur is in his zone, and Joet has not he's not getting desperate yet.
No, he's getting desperate. He's definitely getting desperate. There's nothing worse than Nice little shot right there. But there's nothing worse than actually trying to hit it, trying to hit a guy. When you're constantly missing, you're going to get desperate.
That's what Shakur's betting on. The fact that Joet will have to take more risks, and those straight shots from Shakur Stevenson are just working for him so well.
Right, here he is. Here the overhead shot right here. Look at the footwork of Shakur Stevenson. He's always 2 steps ahead of Joet Gonzalez.
You dictate where he can and cannot go and allow your punches to meet him when they're there. You see Joet once again having to reach. He's got a 2-inch reach advantage over Shakur Stevenson.
It stops your opponent in his tracks. Anything he's thinking about, he has to step back and regroup.
All right, let's take a look at the scores so far from Steve Kim's scorecard on ESPN.com. 40-36, a shout out in favor of Shakur Stevenson. A shot to the back of the head there from Joet Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's frustration.
Yes.
That's frustration, not being able to get to the cat. That happens.
So far, we're seeing that sparring sessions are very different, and the development of a fighter over 2 years, you can see both guys are a lot better than probably when they were in the ring 2 years ago before Shakur's debut.
Bernardo, sparring sessions are sparring sessions. I got my behind whooped in sparring sessions, but let me tell you this. If we put on these small gloves, no helmet, and we got in the ring under these bright lights, I guarantee you, I would have came out on top.
Yeah, the dog in you would have come out just
right.
like it always did.
That's right.
Shakur setting up that counter right. Then he goes down to the body with that left. Joet Gonzalez continues to follow, trying to put pressure on, but the slickness of Shakur Stevenson, next level, and the quickness, once again, the 1-2 stabbing at the face of Gonzalez.
You got to figure, Joet Gonzalez has to figure out a way to close the exits. Instead of throwing the straight punches, he needs to come around with punches to try to trap Stevenson. Joet's doing the same thing, Bernardo, over and over and over. That's not hard to figure out. Stevenson has one of the best IQs in boxing.
Nice counter there. He made Gonzalez reach, and he made him pay.
But look where he was at. He was near the rope.
I know, but give me a specific.
He needs to come around with the hook to cut off the exit. That's what he needs to do. And when he tries to get in, he needs to come behind a double jab. That was a double right hand right there, and he hit Shakur with that.
Leading into this fight, we knew that Shakur does not throw a lot of punches, but he's extremely effective. But some people figured Joet's going to be in there pressuring. That's not his style. He's also a very cerebral, try to break you down, punch by punch fighter, and that's why he's having trouble finding Shakur, although there he lands a couple shots.
This is exactly where he needs to be. He needs to trap the cat in the corner. He came behind the double right hand and then came with the combinations afterwards. Beautiful defense, hand up, held the phone right there, didn't get caught texting, nothing landed on Shakur Stevenson in that sequence.
Did you say Texan?
Man, we always
from Texas?
No, texting.
Okay.
Well, man, my accent is kind of,
It's Louisiana.
Nah. It's Palm Springs.
I'm just messing with you, man.
I know, baby.
But this is, a fight aficionado's virtuoso performance from Shakur Stevenson on the defensive side. I think he could do a lot more offensively like there, where he connects with the left hook. But in terms of defensive prowess, this is exactly what we expected from the young prospect.
Listen, you can't give up defense for offense. That's a rule. And Shakur Stevenson is great at that.
The concentration level it takes to fight like Shakur fights is impressive. And there you see a nice left uppercut from Shakur. Gonzalez trying to work the body.
That's exactly what Gonzalez has to do. At this moment right now, while he's close, he got to let those hands go. And you see the push-off right there from Stevenson. Joet has to come right back and get into that pocket and make things rough for the young man.
That's exactly what his father said he needed to do. Make it a rough war in the ring, because if he can stand still, he can do some work against Shakur.
See, Gonzalez is right where he needed to be, but what did he do? He pulled straight out. And what did Shakur Stevenson do? He caught him with something straight. with the straight left hand.
Ooh, nice left upstairs, and he follows it up with a right to the body. Did Shakur Stevenson. A nice uppercut from Shakur. Part of it blocked by Gonzalez.
You know, accuracy is important, but you know, you can't hit the target. You're not gonna have any accuracy. You know, it's hard to hit the target.
When he says, I can't tire him out, to me, that's got to be deflating.
It is deflating. You know, when you're fighting a fight and everything you do, nothing works. Nice sequence right there, and I'll continue my story in just a second. Nice sequence right there from Joet. That's exactly where he needs to be. He needs to get busy inside the pocket. But as I was saying, when you're fighting a fight and everything you do, you're getting hit. Everything you try,
Ooh, nice
you're
right
missing.
hand.
Yeah, you're missing. You're not being successful. It's equivalent to not having money to feed your family, bro. You got to use everything you can to get your opponent. And that's exactly what Joet's doing. He's getting aggressive right now. Why? Shakur Stevenson is having a little low on his offense.
Nice shot there from Joet Gonzalez. Successful in round 7.
Why? Because Stevenson is against the ropes. When you're against the ropes, there's nowhere to go. You're a stand-up target. But what did he do? He came around with the looping shot to the body that forced Stevenson in the direction of the right hand. And then when he got close, he let his hands go. Great sequence.
That was the left hook in the late part of this fight. Just the last round, we saw 8 punches landed, but the 57 thrown, that made a big difference in the fact that he was coming forward. It's still only 14%, but it was a good round for him.
Absolutely. The second half of this fight is going to be very important for Joet Gonzalez. He's going to have to pick up the tempo. He's going to have to take more risks. He's behind in the fight, and he's going to have to close the gap and pin Shakur Stevenson against the ropes.
Nice long right hand to the body from Joet Gonzalez, who's finding a target now, but he gets caught with a nice counter left from Shakur Stevenson, who gets admonished for the push-off. Joet feeling a little bit more confident, seeing the openings. Now he feels his punch land on the body of Shakur Stevenson. How does that change your mindset when you're in the ring and you're finally feeling yourself land?
Well, the momentum is, kind of shifting. You're having success, now you're landing your shots. Now you're feeling, and you're saying to yourself, I think he's getting a little bit tired.
I'm in this fight, I can do this, I can become a world champion. He let a lot of the early rounds go, but there's still a lot of fight left. So Shakur Stevenson just trying to pepper with that jab. What a nice, stiff, get out of my face jab.
And you see the straight left hand, the backhand of Shakur Stevenson. It stops Gonzalez in his tracks. Anytime he steps forward, he jabs him right down to the body with that left hand.
Gonzalez just doesn't have that warrior, go-get-you-at-all-costs mentality. It's not in his game, but he's going to need to find it down the stretch here. Gonzalez continuing to try to work the body of Shakur Stevenson. We talked about the efficiency of both guys going to the body. So far, it's worked for Shakur, and Gonzalez is trying to find success, but the constant movement of Stevenson is making that difficult.
Yeah, the constant movement, the thinking, the punch selection of Stevenson is frustrating as well. Frustrating as well to Gonzalez.
And every time Gonzalez takes a step forward, that jab is there to meet him.
Right close. Back up.
Gonzalez coming right back at Shakur Stevenson. Stevenson keeps moving to his right, jabbing with that hand. Nice left uppercut from Shakur Stevenson, finding those openings. And here we see the aggressiveness.
That's ring IQ right there. See a fighter lean forward, lift him up with the uppercut. He wants him to set a trap with the power shot. There it is. He said he's going to walk right into it. And what did he do? He walked right into it.
He walked right into a right hand, but Wally Moses wants a devastating left hook or uppercut to come from Shakur Stevenson. There you see the body shots from Joet Gonzalez, who, even though he's not landing at a high clip against Shakur Stevenson, it's a good percentage. Mark, what's the feeling in Joet Gonzalez's corner?
Joet Gonzalez just made a remarkable concession. Joet has to throw more punches, but he has to stop this guy to win the fight. He has to stop this guy to win the fight.
Thank you very much, Mark. Pretty much seeing it like everybody else in America is probably seeing this. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to get out of a corner, to understand that they're seeing it from their eyes, but he's giving himself an honest assessment.
That's right. That's very important to give your fighter an honest assessment. You know, but he still needs to tell his fighter on how he can get to a guy like Shakur Stevenson. You know, when you're throwing straight shots all the time, you're rushing in, you know, what happens is you're allowing Shakur Stevenson to tie you up. You know, if I was in Gonzalez's corner, I would tell him, you know what, switch these punches up. Change your combination. You know, blind them with the jab and come with something looping over the top. Surprise Shakur Stevenson with something different. Something he hasn't done much of.
You gotta go with something unorthodox against a fighter who is so technically sound like Shakur Stevenson.
Look how he gets away from that lead foot of Gonzalez, and he keeps moving to his own right, controlling the outside. If the southpaw can control the outside foot, the lead foot, he's in position to land his power shots. We as fighters, when we training since we were, you know, 10 years old. I was training since I was 10 years old, and so was Joet. You know, we put so much time into the gym. We put so much time into the gym, you know, and we sacrifice so many days, hourless days, blood, sweat, and tears, you know. And then our moment comes. And when we fall short, man, it's a terrible feeling. It's a terrible feeling, man.
It must be devastating, because both of these guys, since they were very young boys, have dreamed of having this exact moment. And so far, Steve Kim's scorecard on ESPN.com, only that 7th round in favor of Gonzalez. And even his father and his brother understand that this is a one-sided fight favoring the ultra-talented Shakur Stevenson, who wants to follow in the footsteps of Sugar Ray Leonard, of Floyd Mayweather Jr., of Pernell Whitaker, and he's putting on that type of performance.
Yes, he is.
And guess what? Joet Gonzalez needs a Julio Cesar Chavez, Meldrick Taylor moment in order to win this fight, and his corner knows it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's doing everything he can. But it's just not good enough. You know, Shakur Stevenson is just a special talent. You know, with great eyes, great footwork, great IQ.
There we see the offense of Gonzalez that his father was asking for. Some of it lands, but the defensive prowess of Shakur Stevenson allows nothing to land flush.
Just grazing blows. But you know, I love the determination and the will of Gonzalez. You know, he's trying. He's trying. He's doing the best he possibly can right now.
Sometimes you need to be a dog in there, and I don't see that part of his demeanor.
I mean, he's trying, man. I mean, he's trying, but, you know, Shakur Stevenson is just a difficult guy to fight and a difficult guy to hit. Look at him. I mean, he's rushing forward. He's letting his hands go, but look at just how fluent and how easy it is for Shakur Stevenson to just be 2 steps ahead of him.
We've been accustomed to seeing a guy like Floyd Mayweather Jr. make great fighters look ordinary. Joet Gonzalez is not an ordinary fighter, but Shakur Stevenson is proving that he's next level. By 7 fights, he was a 2-division champion. All right, Mark, what's going on in the corners?
Wally Moses wants Shakur to keep doing the same thing he's been doing. Be patient. When Joet comes in, hit him with the left hand to the body, get out with the right hook.
I mean, at some point, there's fighters that you really don't even need to say much to. Shakur Stevenson is out there just doing his thing, and now we're in the championship rounds, not even breathing hard.
You know, that's hours and hours of work in the gym, sparring against the best fighters in the world, sparring guys like Terrence Bud Crawford.
Quickly, watch your head. Go.
I mean, Shakur Stevenson's been in there with Vasily Lomachenko. He told us a story about calling Carl Moretti, matchmaker for Top Rank, and saying, hey, I want to go to camp with Vasily and I want to spar with him. They're not going to pay you, he told them. I just want to be there. He wasn't going to fight a southpaw, they said. Hey, I know he's fighting Rigondeaux. Get me in there. All right, go for free if you want to. Get some work in. At the end, they kept him the entire time, and Papachenko said, pay the man, he earned it. That's Shakur Stevenson in a nutshell, trying to prove himself against the best.
That's it. One of the most competitive fighters out there today, and also the future of boxing.
Joet Gonzalez trying to fire away, but he's just not in range. He can't find even the body of Shakur Stevenson. Slick fighters, they say, work the body, you're gonna find it. Why is Shakur's body not even there?
Because, like I said, every time Gonzalez takes a step forward, what does Shakur Stevenson do? He takes 2 steps back, not allowing him to hit his body.
The other thing is, Shakur's not just moving in one direction. He switches it up. I mean, his footwork is impressive. He doesn't go straight back, doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Look at the outside control of Shakur Stevenson. Every time he lands that backhand, look at his foot placement. There it is. Straight left to the body.
If he wants to become a world champion tonight, because what worked for him in his first 23 professional fights is not working for him tonight. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. had a moment against Sergio Martinez, but it wasn't enough. He needs a senior moment like he had against Meldrick Taylor, because Shakur Stevenson is putting on a boxing clinic. Nice combination punching there from Shakur. Whoa! Ooh, on a trip there.
I thought this fight was going to be competitive. This fight's not competitive at all. It's one-sided. Shakur Stevenson dominate.
And pretty soon we'll be talking about Shakur Stevenson. As big as he looked tonight, how long can he stay at this weight class?
He's not even a full-blown man yet. You don't get that full strength until you're about 25, 26. That's when you start your prime. He's 22 years old.
His defensive game is A+. He didn't show too much of the offense tonight. Why do you think that is? Didn't need to. Corner didn't want him to.
Oh, you talking about Shakur Stevenson? Oh, he's making him pay. Every time he make a miss, he's making him pay.
You don't think he could have stopped him?
No. You know what? Gonzalez is he's a tough cookie, man. You know, he's undefeated. He's undefeated for a reason.
Nice combination. 1-2. Upstairs, downstairs. Shakur Stevenson.
At this level, you can't knock everybody out.
I understand.
You know, especially when you're fighting against an undefeated fighter that has 7 years experience over you.
Now I'm interested in what the interaction is going to be in 1 minute and 25 seconds once that final bell rings. Is there going to be that long sought-after respect for Shakur Stevenson from the Gonzalez family, or is he just going to walk away?
I'm going to tell you this. You know, fights like this is so discouraging, being the fighter that on the losing end. You know, I would rather get knocked out than having to go through this beatdown and this embarrassment. You know, the way that Gonzalez is getting hit and the fact that he can't do anything. He can't touch Shakur Stevenson. He's right there to hit him, but he can't touch him.
We talk about vision. We talk about reflexes. That's what Terrence Crawford was telling us about Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
What makes him special? He sees everything. His body reacts impressively. Look at how he made him miss with that right hand. Shakur Stevenson proving that as a defensive fighter, the fact that he loves Pernell Whitaker and that he watches and emulates him, Floyd Mayweather, Sugar Ray Leonard, well, it showed tonight.
He definitely showed tonight.
Joet Gonzalez just out of range, unable to find Shakur Stevenson.
But he's still trying.
Yes.
He's still behaving like a fighter.
He's got the heart of a warrior. He just did not have the tools to deal with a man who wants to be known amongst the best in boxing history. Today was the first step in that direction for Shakur Stevenson.
All in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision. And now, WBO featherweight world champion from Brick City, Shakur